Hi, everybody, and welcome to the session. My name is Eric Ritchie, and I am a product manager with Leica Geosystems, and I oversee all of our CloudWorx products.
And I'm Linda Sharkey. I work with the Bricsys go-to-market team across the Bricsys portfolio of solutions.
Today, we're going to talk about how BricsCAD and CloudWorx work together to enable more workflows, more options, and really give you the tools to work the way you feel comfortable and the way you want to get your job done, give you ways to create your deliverables faster and easier than ever before.
In business and in life, if you want a different result, then you have to do something different. You can't just keep doing what you've been doing. Because when you expect a different result without changing anything, that's the definition of insanity, according to this guy called Bert Einstein. So what does that have to do with scan to plan and model workflows? One of the trends we've heard about from our customers over the years is the increasing cost of CAD and modeling software that has little to no innovation. So I have to ask, are you guys also experiencing this insanity? But if you are, not to worry, we are here to help. When you combine BricsCAD and Leica CloudWorx, you get the same familiar CAD interface, plus innovation to supercharge your workflows. Plus, on top of that, flexible point cloud tools in BricsCAD, unlike other CAD solutions, add those native point cloud tools to the amazing additional point cloud tools in CloudWorx, such as a steel flange, automatic piping, 2D line fitters. It doesn't take an Einstein to see that switching to BricsCAD with CloudWorx can just help you be a winner. First, let's take a look at the BricsCAD family of solutions. Now, BricsCAD is our flagship solution. It's a complete building, civil, and manufacturing design platform. It's flexible, it offers design freedom, and it helps teams work better together. It also allows designers and engineers to flow in and out of 2D and 3D workflows within the same common environment. And it's built on the industry standard DWG format for greater data compatibility with legacy systems. At the heart of this all-in-one design platform is BricsCAD Pro. This is our fundamental, powerful, innovative 2 and 3D design solution. As well as being a great all-around CAD product, it also provides, the engine which powers the BricsCAD platform. So it's where all our specialist BIM and mechanical solutions sit as well. The Pro platform engine also integrates seamlessly with other Hexagon apps, including CloudWorx, CADWorx, and many others. And for those with just straightforward 2D drafting needs, BricsCAD Lite is a cost-effective product, providing many of the 2D features found within Pro, ideal where access to partner apps isn't required and where there's a need for more fundamental 2D work, such as accessing and modifying existing 2D drawings. Now, in this session, we'll focus on BricsCAD Pro, BricsCAD BIM, in combination with Leica CloudWorx.
When we talk about the Hexagon and even within the Leica ecosystem, certainly, of course, we make scanners, but we also make software all up and down the chain from we call it our field to finished solutions. Obviously, that starts with capture out in the field. Then we get into the registration and management all the way through to delivery. And a big part of what CloudWorx brings to the table to enhance what you can do with BricsCAD is bringing a lot of those assets, things that were collected during capture time, bring those all the way through to the downstream. With CloudWorx added to BricsCAD, we have access to even more of this data from the full end-to-end solution.
The BricsCAD and CloudWorx tools target 4 key workflows: scan to tin, scan to 2D plan for building or civil projects, scan to BIM to create 3D intelligent models for things like building renovation projects, and scan to verify for comparing planned models to actual work put in place for progress and quality assurance during construction. Now, overall, BricsCAD provides a more economical and professional CAD tool than legacy CAD, and put CloudWorx on top of this, which offers additional point cloud tools that can be used in the same file as BricsCAD point cloud tools. Fantastic.
The first workflow we're going to talk about is scan to tin. Now, in this example, we're going to show you BricsCAD in addition to CloudWorx, and this is more of a grid-based solution. So the idea is you're creating a grid and then leveraging that grid to then extract some coordinate geometry points from that grid. So let's take a look. Okay, you see here, I have the point cloud open in CloudWorx within BricsCAD. And first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a grid. So I said this was grid-based, and you can see we have easy tools here for setting the grid spacing. This is a useful thing for adjusting your grid on the fly, give you denser points. And so I've just made a selection. You can see that we have a number of algorithms to determine where on the surface you want it, but then it's a pretty quick placement for just, again, creating those coordinate geometry points. Now I'm just going to select those within BricsCAD and create tin surface. And you see here that from those points, just with a few short clicks, I've been able to create a full 3D tin.
Thanks, Eric. Now let's have a look at Scan to Smart Tin within BricsCAD Pro. Now, BricsCAD Pro native point cloud tools can create tin surfaces from large point clouds using our intelligent filtering features. After importing your point cloud, you can create a tin surface. The software will process the point cloud and offer filtering options to simplify the surface. BricsCAD Pro can create tin surfaces from large files by intelligently filtering points at similar elevations based on user-defined parameters. This will remove any unnecessary points. So this means that large point clouds can be used without compromising on the accuracy of the final model. Once you have a suitable tin, you can continue to perform analysis such as elevation and slope analysis, or water drop analysis to determine water flow across the terrain. BricsCAD Pro gives you the power to create workable tin surfaces for a project without the worry of performance issues that large point clouds can bring.
The next use case we're going to look at is scan to plan. So scan to plan is, for customers, who may want to create a 2D plan. So a lot of times we have customers that are generating as-built or updating existing documentation for a project. So many of those customers may want to use a 2D plan, whether that's the end deliverable or a starting point for the next step. These 2D plans are, widely used, as I'm sure you all know. And so we'll show you some tools that help us create plans within BricsCAD. All right, here we see in BricsCAD, I have another data set here. What I'm going to do is, this is in CloudWorx, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a slice. So from our quick slice tool, we can now use our floor plan tool, and what I'm doing here is I can adjust this slice up and down and then use a find wall algorithm. So what this is actually doing is trying to figure out where walls are, and then you can see here we're selecting them and turning those into polylines. So this, of course, gives you a number of tools, so you can extract some of these manually. As you see here, you can create different sorts of renderings and change your modes to get the views you want, and go through and draw these manually, or you can use, as we started off showing, the automated tool to help speed that process. The next workflow we're going to talk about is scan to BIM. So there are a few things here. Maybe you're starting from a 2D plan and creating 3D geometry and a fully realized detailed 3D model from it. Maybe you're starting directly from modeling, but let's talk about some of our options that we offer with BricsCAD and CloudWorx for generating a BIM model. So a lot of times, let's talk about, the workflow here. So obviously we're talking about laser scanning, especially, and laser scan data. So the first step of this process, of course, is capturing your project. In this case, we have a building. We talked about creating the 2D plan from scan to plan, etc. From there, perhaps you're looking to take that plan. We have tools within BricsCAD to extrude those 2D lines and create 3D geometry, available in BricsCAD BIM. Also within CloudWorx, we have tools to also, as I mentioned before, saying that there were multiple ways to accomplish these results. In CloudWorx, we also have tools to take polylines and also turn those into extruded 3D objects.
That's right, Eric. And another pathway to get to BIM is to model directly on the point cloud by using intelligent 3D tracing tools. You could also use BricsCAD BIM's smart tools to identify planes and convert interstitial spaces into model geometry. Or you can mix and match methods. That's the best thing. It's your choice. Once you have the model complete, use BricsCAD BIM's AI command, Bimify, to add intelligence to all of the model elements. So that's right, you can freely model anything and let BricsCAD's AI algorithms classify all those model elements afterwards. Once you're done there, you can export to IFC, or you can keep it in DWG format. It's completely up to you. Not only can you use 2D drafting tools like lines, inserting blocks, and dimensioning on point clouds in BricsCAD BIM, you also have the ability to create 3D geometry as well. Use tools like Fit Planar to automatically create 3D surfaces or solids by selecting points from a point cloud, and BricsCAD also gives you the option of selecting more points for low-resolution point clouds. This means that your generated geometry is more accurate. You can also use these tools in the bubble view, clicking to create walls, floors, and ceilings. The Select Opening option will create a polyline around openings like doors or windows, so you can extrude these to create holes in your surfaces. When you're done, click Accept, and you'll have your 3D surfaces with holes to represent openings. The Automatic Stitching option can create complete solids rather than surfaces, so that you have a representation of the room volume. You can hop between bubble views to jump straight to the view you want to create spaces with. And they don't have to be perfectly rectangular. In this stairwell area, there's irregular shapes like this slanted roof and walls that aren't perfectly plumb. BricsCAD BIM lets you use Fit Planar to stitch these into a solid. Once you have the geometries you need, you can switch off the section clip and switch off the point cloud, showing the solids you've just created. Then use the BIM Invert Spaces command to create a building from a set of solids by fitting slabs, walls, and roofs in and around them. You can set thickness parameters, for example, to bottom slabs, top slabs, and inner slabs, and tolerances that will determine whether the geometry should be defined as parallel or coplanar. You can also create individual walls per floor, or create a single wall shell, and when you're happy with your choices, BricsCAD BIM will create a properly classified model with walls, roofs, and slabs, and the ability to add more information within the BIM Properties panel. From there, you can export the model to IFC so it can be used within a BIM workflow. Opening this model in a viewer will show the model with all of its associated intelligence and information ready to go. We saw BricsCAD working with CloudWorx to create a plan from a point cloud, but we could continue to leverage the LGS point cloud to create a proper BIM model using BricsCAD BIM's tools. You can use the CloudWorx clipping manager to switch on a vertical slice of the point cloud and use that as a guide for extruding height. Snap to points within the point cloud and extrude the boundaries. Now that the model with 3D solids has taken shape, you can use the clipping manager to get rid of the vertical slice and start to make use of BricsCAD BIM's AI tools to smartify the model. Switching off the point cloud, you can use the Entity Viewer to see the 3D elements created from the CloudWorx point cloud. These 3D solids can be selected and split to represent the individual walls within the building, and then you can use the BIMify tool to automatically classify these into rooms or spaces, along with floor area counts. You can continue to refine the model by applying materials to walls. Simply select the walls you want and drag and drop compositions onto them from the palette. Use the L-Connect tool to create connections between the walls so that corners are properly represented. And finally, you can add windows and doors to the model, all of which can be dragged in from the Components palette with the BIM element shown in the BIM Entities Viewer on the left.
Finally, the last workflow that we're going to look at is Scan to Verify. So Scan to Verify can take a number of forms. You may be familiar with the idea of doing something like a clash check to see if perhaps you're running some ductwork and you want to see if you're going to run into a cross beam, or you want to, see if one of your columns is going to interfere with a wire rack, something like that. But there are also some other things that you can do with Scan to Verify, and we'll take a look at a couple of these. But this could be beyond just clash detection. We could be talking about something like anti-clash, where we're actually using the point cloud to verify the status of a construction project. So by checking the model against the point cloud, we can see where there are big areas of missing data, so that we can see, for instance, if a design system just hasn't been installed yet. Maybe that trade hasn't been to the site yet or hasn't worked on that part of the project yet. So anti-clash gives us a chance to look at some project monitoring options as well as just the typical clash check. And so we'll look at a few methods here for using point clouds for Scan to Verify. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open a data set here. And, of course, it's important to have your scan data as well as your model on the same coordinate system. So you see I had a drop down when I first selected that, but now I'm bringing in an IFC model, and you see it does align nicely here. So what I can now do is, you'll see that I have my point cloud and my model align nicely. So I'm actually going to start off by opening TrueSpace. So TrueSpace is our bubble viewer within CloudWorx. And so here you see that I can use it as a steering wheel, and we're navigating the CAD window that you can see behind us as we do this. And what I can actually do is use this to perform a bit of a visual inspection. So from this, I can find an area that I might want to get a little more detail on, or find an area that has something that doesn't quite match up. And then I can go to my Clash Manager. As I mentioned, there are multiple methods here. So I can select an area of geometry, and here I'm adding it. First, I'm going to do an anti-clash. So in this case, it looked like perhaps some things, had not been quite installed yet. There were modeled objects that weren't reflected in the points. So I can go through my clashes and check on those and look at how well they fit or they don't fit. You see that, I have highlighted objects here, and I can identify, in this case, this railing was not present. And so I can decide that I have reviewed these. We can change and update the status and share these. So next we're going to look at a more typical, clash sort of check. So in the Clash Manager, again, I can choose a clash as my method and then select an area, select some objects that I want to test against. You can use preset selections, or you can do like we did here and just drag a fence to select a group of objects. And so here I can, again, review my clashes. I can sort these through via the number of clashing points in this case. And again, clicking on these elements will go one by one. Of course, the more clashing points, the more likely it is that, that object does in fact align well with that data. So whether you're looking at this to check on how well your modelers have done, you can use clash checking in this case where you're looking for a whole lot of points that match up with an object to indicate that you've modeled this pretty well. Or you can look for just a sparse few points and perhaps it's noise, perhaps you're able to detect that something is just out of tolerance and you're clipping into that object a bit. And you see here I mentioned being able to use selection sets. So in this case, I'm just demonstrating that anything you select within BricsCAD gets added to the Clash Manager. So it's really easy to get just what you want selected from your model and run a clash check against it.
That's great, Eric. Now, let's just have a quick look at what our customers are saying about our scan, model, and BIM solution. This is Echo Patrol in Colombia. They renovated their hospital property and knew that the as-builts were outdated. So, service providers scanned the facility and modeled the existing conditions in BricsCAD BIM. They were impressed that scan data from another vendor worked flawlessly with Leica and Bricsys software tools, and their expectations were exceeded with the modeling speed in BricsCAD BIM and the interoperability as the model was converted from DWG to IFC and then used in Revit by the design architect. Here's a look at the point cloud data in BricsCAD BIM with CloudWorx before they started modeling. On the left, we can see the architecture and MEP modeling in BricsCAD BIM. And on the right, we can see a section of the building model with all disciplines modeled. And this is a fun rendering of the building systems with fluffy white clouds in the background. Echo Patrol also renovated an office building using Leica CloudWorx and BricsCAD BIM. The greatest benefits on this project was the fast speed of modeling. They actually spent 40% less time modeling than they had budgeted for. So it's exciting to hear about these great productivity gains from our customers. They also enjoyed the benefits of more accurate quantities of materials for the renovation. And, just simply stated, when you have accurate 3D designs, you get more accurate quantities and estimates. Here's an interesting bird's eye view looking at the structure where you can see the building systems and furniture in the spaces, all modeled in BricsCAD BIM and BIMified with AI. The third use case that Echo Patrol has is a scan to verify process. They scanned and modeled the current conditions and compared the results to the building's existing conditions drawings to find deviations. A structural model was quickly built from the available 2D design drawings. Look for the red pipe, that's it there. Laser scanners were used to capture actual existing conditions and modeled. See the white pipes beside the red pipes, indicating a deviation from the owner's existing conditions. The result was that with CloudWorx and BricsCAD BIM, they were able to merge legacy model data with scan to BIM data to detect and correct deviations. Now, this assured that new designs were based on an accurate digital representation. As a result, they've got high quality designs and lower than average change orders on site.
All right, so I hope you saw that we provide a lot of tools that you can accomplish a number of tasks with whatever sort of methodology works best for you. So the nice thing about BricsCAD and CloudWorx is they don't force you into any specific workflow. You can go through, you can use the tool that best suits your needs for the given job. That could vary by person, that could vary by project, but we give you a lot of flexibility. And so, BricsCAD's great on its own, but we think that with CloudWorx, it makes it even better. And so, of course, if you're already a CloudWorx user, maybe you have another version, we actually have an upgrade path. So we have a special deal so that we can cross-grade you, as we call it, transition you from your existing CloudWorx over to a CloudWorx Pro for BricsCAD. No cost to that. We do require maintenance, but we also have a discounted rate to upgrade from any version of CloudWorx to CloudWorx Ultimate as well. So CloudWorx Ultimate includes licenses for any of our other CloudWorx packages. So, be they for another design package that maybe you've switched to BricsCAD, but you still have some team members using, you can, with BricsCAD, with CloudWorx Ultimate, you can use that on each of these systems and not need to, give one up until you're ready, until you've finished your transition to CloudWorx Ultimate, or maybe you have some team members that are still using some of these other solutions for one reason or another. And, it just gives you that added flexibility to be able to use whichever project and product works best for you. All right. Well, thank you for joining this session, and I hope you found it interesting. Feel free to reach out to us if you have questions or if something sparked your interest. Feel free to contact your local sales representative, contact your dealer, whomever, and we'll be happy to arrange, a demonstration or more information. Thanks for watching.